Hi, Virgo. Do you still love them even though you shouldn't? Shouldn't. Love is a very broad term. Though it's very specific. Let me tell you how both those things exist. They exist because love is God. God is love. Whatever you think of as God, it is that ever connecting eternal force that doesn't know time or space or place, death. It is just always connecting. You know, it's what keeps us in contact with the ancestors or the loved ones that have passed on. Love is that eternal. Okay. So when I talk about love, I mean big love, real love, true love, unconditional love, which is something that we're allowed to give everybody at all times. I think in the euphoric situation, there's always that sense of we would love everybody and we would be connected to everybody. Because that connectivity, that peace of God that is inside of all of us makes us all essentially at our core, at least spiritually, the same, even though physically, biologically, and 3D, we're very different. We're very diverse in how we experience and how we experience the 3D world. And the reason for that is so that God, the everything, the universe, can understand this 3D world through many different perspectives. So real unconditional love is something that you can give to anybody. But I'm not sure I'm talking about that. I'm talking about that love that is what we consider romantic love. That is what we consider that sort of possessive love. That, boy, don't I wish I was theirs. That feeling of I still miss them. And what if things had worked out between the two of us? That sense of really not being able to get over this partner that you've idealized in your mind as who you always wanted to be with and who you will always want to be with. And maybe you didn't get to spend long enough with them. It makes sense because we're coming on the tail end of Mercury retrograde, and Venus had come out a couple of weeks ago of retrograde. So there's that sense of realizing what we really feel while also going back. So there's this sense of nostalgia in this present. There's that sense of love that was reemerging and taking over. But ultimately, it is a fantasy. It is a dream because we don't remember things accurately. We think we do, Virgo, but we don't. We remember things ideally because of the emotions that are connected to them. And we're very, it's almost like when we miss somebody, like, you ever heard the expression, nobody has anything bad to say about the dead, which is not true all the time. But a lot of times when somebody passes away, suddenly a lot of the bad stuff that they did gets pushed away because they're not alive to put any pressure on you or remind you of those bad things about them anymore. And I compare this to a dead romance because it's no longer alive. Yes, the person's still alive, but the romance itself is no longer alive to remind you of all the ways they hurt you. So instead, there's just this idealized version of this romance. So the most important thing is to ask yourself, why are you going there? To those regions in your mind, those spaces that bring up that old idealized love. Is it an indication that there is something lacking in your current situation, even though it is more responsible, even though it is more reliable, even though it is more mature? Is the sense of adventure, is the sense of chemistry lost? So who is bringing up these feelings for you? I'm going to get into the reading, Virgo. Please do click subscribe. Ring that bell, like, share to other profiles. There's always an extended too, so we're going to do a full tarot card spread as well. That link is below. Virgo, 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 Virgo energy. Hold on, let me shuffle the card. Okay, a little bit of insight here. The tedium has been getting to you. It's been getting to you in a sense of almost a virus and infestation. The tedium around you, the sense of getting smothered and having to share your space with a lot of little details and a lot of little particulars that is making you claustrophobic. Now, details is where you usually thrive, but these are not just too much. They're things that you don't want to deal with. They're little things that have been building and you didn't want to look at, because the truth is they frustrate you way too much. This is a sense of everything else is right, so I want to put away what's wrong. But is that possible, and is that the correct way? Because this has been building for a long period of time, and it may have started small and it may have started insignificant, but it is no longer insignificant, Virgo. And that's what the significance of this is, a sense of this, now it's huge, now it's looming. It went from little things adding up to now being so big it's an elephant sitting in your room and taking up most of your space. What is it? Is the sexual chemistry not there? You have a friendship, but the sexual chemistry is not there. Is it just sex and nothing else is really working out? And for a while you could patch it up with just the sex and ignore it, but things are getting too big to ignore now. This is an infestation that has crawled out and is now seeping into other aspects of your life, making you more frustrated, making you have a shorter fuse. And also, and this is the real bad part, making you doubt who you are or your sense of value. It's almost interrupting how you feel about yourself, the issue that you know is problematic between the two of you is now making you question your own validity and self-confidence and who you are and your value. And I think this is a sense of trying to cover the stink up with a lot of perfume, and the perfume has gotten so thick that now you're choking yourself with a sense of with that perfume. So there is that real necessity to look at what is really stinking up the room. Because if you've ever had an infestation of too many mice, you know that they shit in the walls, and that's essentially what's going on. It's like the infestations run over so much that now it's stinking to the point where you can't cover it up with perfume anymore. It's almost like you're not allowed to stay in a house that's being fumigated because it would kill you too. Well, there's so much perfume in the air, it's making it hard to breathe. There is that sense of feeling like it's hard to breathe. So you could be having major anxiety attacks right now, a sense of not being able to control your circumstance, or like I said, feeling suffocated. Now, what do you do about this? Get to the heart of the problem. And I think that I think too much. I know that you're already aware of what the heart of that problem is. It may make you sad, it may make you doubt, but those are things that you have to feel, that sadness, that doubt, that fear of maybe I'm not in the right relationship, or have I given up too much to stay in this relationship? Now, for those of you who are earlier on in the relationship, it is something that you will have a better chance of taking care of than if you've been together for 20 years and have 2 kids, right? That makes some things much more complicated, and there's so many things that are on the outside of your feelings that will make you feel responsible for keeping this relationship going. And you'll always err on the side of keeping the family together. But essentially there is that elephant in the room. Did I choose the right one? Are you the right one for me? For many of you, I feel like there is a horrible screaming in your head that's ripping apart your brain, that's causing the anxiety, saying, I didn't choose the right one. I chose the responsible one, but I'm so longing for the excitement and the thrill that I used to feel. And no, it's not worth throwing away what I have, because what I have, what if it's really good in all other aspects except that you settled? It is, and that's the fear, is did I settle? Did I miss out on something? This is a really exploratory period, especially when Mercury, which is your ruling planet, is in retrograde. It is that exploratory period for you to really get honest with your feelings and work through them so that they don't sit and infest anymore, and that you don't have to cover them up. No, this is absolutely confronting them and being honest with yourself in that confrontation. Now, for people in new couple situation, there is a better sense of this is a perfect time for you to get to the heart of that lack of intuit that you're feeling, and be really honest with yourself, because the truth is, my dear Virgo, you can make a responsible choice. You can find a person who is both responsible for you and exciting for you. You don't have to give up one for the other. But especially if you met this more responsible choice after you just gotten out of a relationship with a more exciting choice, you would definitely be like, nope, not doing exciting again. Gonna go down the straight and narrow path and make the responsible choices. And it's gonna eventually eat away at you, because the truth is, Virgos are freaking closet freaks, and you really do need that sensation in your life. It's part of who you are. You're very sensual and sexual creatures. So if that aspect isn't there, you are really, it isn't really responsible to deny that part of yourself, because it is an important part of you. And I would never say that sex makes the whole relationship, because it doesn't. But when the sex isn't good, it becomes a very big problem. So trying to stay the same, keeping yourself in a stagnant situation, not allowing yourself to broaden, expand, or grow, being in a situation where you can't grow because you might leave what cannot grow with you behind. A sense, yeah. And then look at this. Look at these cards here. Sing your own song. You need to let this out, especially in terms of I'm not kidding. Write a song, compose a song, sing a song, go do karaoke. It's saying to you, Spirit is saying, music or some sort of performance or art is going to help you, where you communicate what you're feeling. Poetry, rap, anything that will help you get it out and make it realized. Don't just keep it up in here, because that's what's causing you the anxiety. This could be a really safe outlet for you, so that you don't have to walk away from the relationship that isn't so satisfying, as long as you have a conduit that does satisfy you, and you can put all your emotional pain, your struggle, your suffering, your truth, as well as your fantasies into this writing, this novel that you're working on, this song of a made-up relationship. There's so many ways for you to access those parts of you and make them born without making them your entire reality. Like when you write a novel, when you write a poem, those characters in that piece of work are alive now. They're alive, and you can share them with people, but it can also be sort of safe in that you don't have to abandon a life that you've grown to depend on and like and really respect and appreciate. But this does have to come out. It can't be ignored. This is mama bear energy, which means you are fiercely protecting something or someone, and you're even protecting them from yourself, from the parts of yourself that you're getting high anxiety from, because you're damning those parts of yourself. You're hating those parts of yourself, or you're denying those parts of yourself, like a mama bear would, those energies that she feels are attacking her home. So especially if you have kids, especially if you have a home that's built around this relationship, you are fiercely denying or not letting it move, not letting those emotions move forward. But it's really unhealthy, and the sickness continues to fight back, and bear energy eventually will not be able to contain it. So you can find ways to be able to use it and like use it to tell the truth, to say the truth, because this is the energy of suppressing the truth, not wanting to tell the truth, right? So this is a sense of, this is what you need. You know, you're just blocked in by this bear that's ripping at you. It's almost like being in fight or flight mode for so long that, of course, you're stressed out all the time. That's what's going on. You know, if your eating patterns have been messed up, you've been having bad dreams, you've been waking up in the middle of the night, you need to do something with that emotional energy. You need to conduct it into a creative field. I say music, Virgo, because I know how musical Virgos are. Some of the most wonderful musicians. You have Pink, you have Amy Winehouse. I know that Freddie Mercury was a Virgo. There's so many, and I knew a few more. There's just so many Virgo musicians, because, music is that perfect balance between the pragmatic and the creative, because music is very structured, it's very mathematical, but it's also a conduit for the soul. So it's a perfect balance for you to adhere to the rules of the musical scale, but also just like literally let yourself flow into those pragmatic measurements of music. Beautiful way. And of course, it doesn't have to be. You could be very lyrical or musical in the novel that you're writing, in the prose that you write. You know, it doesn't have to be just music, but that's what I see here. This is Gemini energy. Gemini energy is also ruled by Mercury. Now, we're about to come out of Mercury retrograde. Things will get a little bit easier for you, but I don't want you to let up on yourself right now, because the reason why you're feeling such pressure is because it's really being dug up. When Mercury is in a water sign, which it is, it's in Cancer right now, those emotions are really being dug up and spit at you for the reason that they have to be. The reason being that they are very real, and Mercury retrograde is just going to come around again. So here is a sense and a way out of, you know, because this is big old bear. He could intimidate a person, but a little canary high on a branch is out of the reach of the bear, you know. And this is representing your music or your creative flow. Let's get some tarot in here to see. There's just this need in you right now, Virgo, to have that conduit for yourself. Aries, this is the Emperor has arrived. So this is extreme confidence. It's also forward moving progress, creating something out of nothing. This is a father energy, somebody who is very strong, very passionate, very reliable. Could be father energy. Interesting. Oh wow, this is beautiful energy. This is you can do anything. In other words, it's time for you right now. Where is Mars still? I think Mars is still in Aries. So this is a sense of it fueling your ability to create those things that maybe you're intimidated by because they don't make sense, but they only don't make sense because you haven't made sense out of them yet. In other words, you have the ability to take the ineffable and make it make sense and put the ineffable into words. Which means it means actually, just like music, making sense out of something that didn't make any sense at all, because emotions are sensation. They don't make any sense, but when you put them to music, suddenly there's the sense. And that's what this is. It's just having that completely realized sense of self and your responsibility toward making this and building it and doing it. You're on your own. These are two cards if you're going to get it done in great abundance and to great capabilities. So let's continue this in the extended. The link is in the description box below. Virgo, I'll see you over there.